Right, good evening, everybody. This is Warwick and Tanya for the Homesteading and Honeybee Synergy Talk. I'm from Beware, and Tanya's from Self-Sufficient Homesteading and Gardening Group on Facebook. And tonight is going to be just one amazing download of making money ideas while homesteading or on your small holding, and how you can keep the bills, how you can keep the lights on, pay the bills, and it's all going to come from a side income, a little bit of a side of extra income. Okay, so or side hustle, a lot of people call it, and you could even bring it into being a full-time income. You never know. So this is where I started. It's where Tanya started, and now she's just about. I think you guys are just about fully self-sufficient, right, Tanya?
We're nearly there.
Nearly there.
We're nearly there.
And what are you saving up for a high tunnel, right?
That's it.
Ideally by 31st of December.
By the end of the year. End of the year.
Cool. So for the people that haven't been on with us before, guys, we do a talk every Wednesday except for the last Wednesday. So welcome, join us, welcome, and thanks for joining us if this is your first time. I've been in beekeeping for about 16, 17 years now, and I have the large beekeeping retail store in South Africa, based in Centurion. And Tanya is based you guys in the Northwest. Tanya?
We're in Limpopo.
You're in Limpopo, cool.
Limpopo?
And you guys are you've got horses, you've got sheep, you've got cattle, you've got amazing
chickens.
Space chickens. They look quite cool. And then you also have these other do you still have those funny vulture birds, the vulturines? Do you still have those?
I sold them.
You did, hey?
No, I don't. I sold them
a while back. Okay, but you make profit, eh?
Yes, indeed.
Nice. That's the name of the game. Okay, so yeah, I've had a business for a long time. I worked from home. I started from a garage, just like I think a lot of people that that want to start something on the side do. And I kind of look at people like Google and who else was there, Amazon and all those kind of guys. I mean, they had a lot of money. Some of them had a lot of money to start off with anyway. I mean, I think I borrowed $8,000 from a family member, and I said to them, I'll pay them back by the end of the year, and I did. And even though they were like, no, don't worry about it, I was like, no, I'm going to honor that agreement, and I took them out for dinner as well, and blah blah blah. So it was awesome. You can do it. We did it. You can do it. We're still carrying on. We still, going ka-ching at the bank and enjoying the fruits of our hard and smart labor. So hopefully we can pass a lot of this information on to you guys tonight. It's going to be a big download. In other words, we're going to be dumping a lot of information onto you guys about ideas about how to do a side hustle, what side hustles you can utilize for yourselves. And then we're going to give you some awesome resources that you can go on to. And then once you've decided what if and what you want to go ahead with, you can then go and look those things up. So if you're new to us, guys, make sure you get onto the YouTube channel and or the replay zone. I'll put that in a chat link as well. You guys can go and have a look at that and pick up on backstory of what we've been talking about. We do spend a lot of time talking on specific topics, and tonight's just going to be a really broad generalistic one. But welcome tonight, and thanks, Tanya.
Yes, okay. Yes, guys, let me tell you a bit more about ourselves. Warwick did tell a bit. We are a very entrepreneurial family. We raise our children in a homeschool environment, and we teach them to be entrepreneurs because it's just impossible, I think, these days to not be an entrepreneur. Jobs abundant. You have to create things yourself, and that's what we're trying to teach. Yes.
Sorry, we missed you there for a second or two. Yeah, you just disappeared.
Okay. Okay, just tell me if it happens again. I'll move to another location. All right, so we raise our children as entrepreneurs because the opportunities are such a lot when you are an entrepreneur. Like Warwick, so he started in a garage. we basically started in the same, if I can use that manner of speech. We all start there, right? And my son, he turns 13 on the 30th of April. And when he was 9, he opened up a business and he made that business very successful. He won Entrepreneur of the Year, and he sold that business to an adult end of 2019. So if a 9-year-old can do it, guys, then we can do it too. Yes. And my daughter also has a business, my eldest daughter, a skin range that she has, and my youngest
breaking up there a bit.
So there she doesn't make money, but that is just her passion. We can do our passion too while mom earns the money, right? Okay, so we do come from a background where we want to hustle. That's it. There's no other option. And as Warwick has said, I'm saving for a high tunnel. The high tunnel that I want is 90,000 Rand. And I started saving the beginning of March, and I said I wanted to be able to do that by the end of December. Am I still coming through? The internet still good?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. And I want to tell you where I am. Sorry?
That was based on our talk about goal setting, right? More at the beginning of the year.
Correct.
And I think you were very specific. You were very specific about that date as well on that goal, weren't you? 31st of December, midnight?
Yes, I've got till midnight.
Cool.
So yes, that is my goal. I started March.
We lost you.
US dollars. That's what I'm saving in.
We lost you there.
I am at $2,300 US already since the beginning of March. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. You just disappeared in the beginning.
Okay, I'm currently at $2,300. I must move location. Let me move to another location for a better signal. Cool. Warwick, just carry on for a moment. I'll get back to you.
I'll do that. Okay, guys. So one of the best places that I've found for learning about creating either passive income and or side hustles, okay, or side incomes or extra income kind of ideas is what I'm going to post in the chat now. Okay, so the website, it's an international based website called sidehustle.com. And the beauty about this, right, is that the guy started off basically because he came across a bunch of ideas. He didn't know how to kind of get into them, how to start them, but he then started talking with other entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs that went through the same process, and he just asked them questions. He basically asked them for a case study of how they got involved, why they saw this gap, and what they did to pursue it. So sidehustle.com, usually between 8 and 10 minutes. Not longer than 10 minutes per case study per se. And what's pretty cool is he gives you a one-page outline of the difficulty of setting it up, the profit margin involved, and how long it takes, more or less how long it took the setup to happen. Okay, from the time that they started setting it up to the time that it started making money. And then, so that's on the one page, and then you can listen to it as an audio. So it is an audio for 8 to 10 minutes, usually, not much longer than that. So sidehustle.com, it's magic, okay? And the cool thing is it covers all sorts of business ideas there. And another awesome thing about it is that what's quite lekker is that you can actually do a search and or download the audios as well, and it's all free. So go check sidehustle.com out. Awesome resource there. Another one that I personally have followed, I listened to the first 200 episodes as and when they were coming out. And that's by a guy who literally found a niche because he was studying for an exam and he couldn't find any resources around being able to get this exam, get past this exam. He failed it a couple of times, just couldn't get past, couldn't pass the exam. So he effectively thought, well, if nobody else is making this kind of resources, why don't I? And he did. He set up a little website. He started charging for it, and Bob's your uncle. He ended up making quite a lot of money actually, and that was the first ever thing that he came up with as a side hustle. because he struggled so much to pass this exam. He thought, well, there must be tons of other people that are doing the same thing, and he made a product out of it, i.e. he made resources, like a survey questions, what do you call it, mock papers and things like that, and videos explaining the hardest parts of the exam, questions that are going to be coming and the topics. And he then sold that as a product online. Okay, and he was a dollar-based person, but it doesn't really matter. But then, because of the results of all of that, he started something called, this guy's name's called Pat Flynn. What he ended up doing is he then started something called smartpassiveincome.com. Okay, I'm going to put this in the what's the name, it smartpassiveincome.com. Okay, Pat Flynn, smartpassiveincome.com. Go and have a look. Pretty much majority of his stuff now is interview based. It's 45 minutes to 60 minutes long. And what he does is he does in-depth interviews with each one of these candidates that come through that have started some kind of business and hustle on the side. And now they've become, not only are they running it full time, but they're actually doing exceptionally well usually. So smartpassiveincome.com. And generally, what's also pretty cool is that he also does affiliate linking with a lot of the stuff. And he actually showcases month by month what income he's making, which is phenomenal. And he's done that from the beginning. Puts up a spreadsheet every month of how much money he's actually made off affiliate linking. And sometimes with people that are doing, he's doing interviews with on their products, and sometimes it's with other products. Sometimes he also does sponsorship, and he gets paid for sponsorship. So pretty cool model. But what's also pretty cool is that you get, I think he's like on, I don't know how many now, but he's at least 500 episodes plus, because he's been going for a long time. I think he's now on about 10 years. So you can pick and choose again what you want to listen to and how people are making money, and actually get in-depth insights into those ideas that they had and what they did and the process they went through, okay, to make money from home and then build it from there. And I mean, to give you an idea, some of them were simply YouTube channels. There was a young girl, I think she was about 10, 11, going to school. And there was this Monster High series. And, the Monster High dolls came out and all of that. And what she used to do, because all of her friends were crazy about the same thing, is she created a YouTube channel talking about what was happening in Monster High episodes. And then she affiliated to that links to the dolls that you could buy of the favorite characters. And that's how she made money. And she was making more money than her father was within 3 months. Boom. Okay. So smartpassiveincome.com, Pat Flynn, awesome guy. And he's so down to earth. He's like one of us. He's a Joe Blogs or a Jane, Mary Jane, whatever. He's got a family, he's got kids, he's married, and this was his story. So yeah, Smart Passive Income, if you're interested, have a look. Back to you, Tanya.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yes, that's one of the things, Warwick, on a homestead or a farm, there's two ways to make money. You can either just use your hands. Obviously, your brain is involved too, but I'm talking about being creative with your hands, making things that people would like. But you have to realize that there are other implications to being creative. You have to find the right market. You have to get it to them. Like the beehive that we are giving away after we have taken all the names that's been on all 3 times. You have to send it away with a courier. It costs a lot of money to send it. So you have to think, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to do something physically with my hands that I have to post out? Or do I want to follow some other models that you will find on Side Hustle or Pat Flynn's ideas? And you want to do it online and just do something on your computer that will bring you an income. Yes, we don't all want to sit in front of a computer all day, but it's not always necessary to be in front of a computer all day. It depends on your business idea. And like Warwick said, this girl made from monsters. She made a YouTube channel that's hugely successful. And that's one of our business models that we are trying to follow at this stage with our children. Our children, 2 of our children have YouTube channels, and we are trying to get that up and running as well as monsters. But anyway, we'll get there. So, but that's one of the things. Teach your children from small to do things to earn some extra money, because that's the only way that they will survive on our way forward. Obviously, being a homesteader as well, you can. But you always need a bit of extra money, like to keep the lights on, or to pay the diesel, or to pay the courier money that sends out the beehive to all the people that's been on the call. Money is needed for that. That's not for free. So you do need money.
Yeah.
Yes. So where I was cut off last, my goal was 90,000 by the end of December, and I've got $2,300, which is probably about 30 something thousand. That's not bad, I think, since beginning of March. And that will be my first idea that I will be discussing with you, how this happened. My son got interested in trading online. He wanted to trade crypto. And most people will know it as Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is just, in my opinion, this much of the crypto world, because there's so many coins, etc., that can be traded. And so he started doing it a year ago. He got trained. It's important. Don't go into something that you don't know like that. He went on a course, he got trained. And then in February, this little young man who's 12, that's the same one that stole his business to an adult, he made 5,500 in 1 month. And I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. Here I am selling a chicken or whatever, and I'm not making close to 5,500 Rand. And I'm like, no, I need to do this course too. So I did my course end of February, beginning March. And that is how I earned my money for my tunnel so far. And I am more than a third there already within 2 months. And April is not even finished yet, actually. So it's not even a full 2 months. So the course that I did is called Hodl Knots course, and I will post, when I finish speaking about this, I'll post all the links in the comments for you when I hand over to Warwick, because I'm not so good at doing two things at once. Warwick can just like talk, and he types and he searches while he's talking. I'll do that afterwards. So, but basically, Hodl Knots is the the company. They train you. They teach you how to read indicators, how to see when is a good time to buy, how to see when it's a good time to sell, and that's the course I did. So, and also with Pat Flynn, that's what Pat Flynn taught me, is to have affiliate links. So I will be posting an affiliate link in the comments as well. So if you would be interested in the course, then you can follow the affiliate link and do the course on the affiliate link. And then I earn 35 or 45 dollars, which is a lot of money. So, and if you want to do it in future, then you can too. And it's not like all these people say, oh, but then isn't it a pyramid scheme or something? It's not. It's literally a company that's doing training, and I am referring a new student to them. The student doesn't fall under anybody else or nothing. The student goes and does the course and goes their way. So good money to earn there. That was my first thing that I wanted to talk about. So Warwick, do you have anything you want to say about the crypto trading?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I think we missed the part where you told us how much you started with, Tanya.
Oh, I started with $350.
Okay.
$350.
Cool. And then, okay. So it has to be in dollars. And then can you do, so obviously you can do this in South Africa, which is cool, or anywhere, I presume, in the world, as long as you have an ID or something. And then, so it's a lot like doing stock market trading, I imagine. I mean, that's what I used to do before I did the beekeeping. And so, yeah, it's just an ID, and you need some funds in dollars, or they'll take your rands and convert them, right?
Yes. How I started, I put money into Luno. But Luno is very expensive. There is other ways to get your money into your main exchange, and the exchange we use is Binance. So you can do it with your credit card, take it directly to Binance if you want. So you take rands, put it in there, it's converted into dollars, and then you start with your trading. The course also, the payment is in dollars, and I made back my course money within my course money and my what we call a den fee within 8 days. So that was just ridiculously 8 days.
But now so how does it work?
It sounds a lot.
Is it 8? Sorry, Gary, it sounds like.
No, you wanted to ask?
I was going to say, so how does it, is it like normal business hours? Is it business Monday to Friday? How does it work? How does that work?
Okay, great.
Because you say it's
Good
8
question,
days.
Warwick.
Is that 8 straight days, or is it like Monday to Friday and then another Monday to Wednesday kind of thing? Just let us
I
know
hear what
about
you
that.
say. I wasn't doing 24/7, no. I was doing when I had time. Guys must remember, I am a homeschooling mom. I have a farm to run. I have to help my kids with their businesses. I have my own businesses. So
It's all easy
I do
stuff.
not have time
What
to.
you complaining about? I mean,
So I don't
yeah,
have time. So I don't have a lot of time to spend on just one thing. So the what they teach you is called scalp trading. Now, scalp trading, if you're in a market, we currently what we call a bull market, it's an up market. Okay, things are growing really well. And if somebody buys you at the bottom and they hold it for 2 years, a coin, and after 2 years they sell it, that's a long-term trader. So the market goes up and down, but they just keep holding the coin, right? And at the end of their 2 years, and I'm not being funny, some coins have grown 1,000, 2,000% in 2 years. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's
Anyway,
look at Bitcoin.
so
It was 20,000 last year. It's now
yeah.
it touched on 63,000 a month ago.
Yes.
You know,
So that's just one example.
as one
Exactly.
example.
Exactly. But what the scalper does is, while the market is going up and down and up and down, they buy at the lows, sell at the highs, buy at the lows, sell at the highs. So they don't keep it that long time. They ride every single wave when they're in front of their computer, obviously.
Okay.
So if you want to scalp, you choose a time where you want to scalp. They teach you how to look at when is the market good, when is the market not good. So you choose a good time and when the coins are really running, and you start scalping. But what about in a bull market? In a bull market, the guys who hold long term don't make money. They just have to wait it out. Where the scalper makes money because we catch it still goes like this, but it's just going in a downtrend.
You mean
So it still has ups and
bear
downs.
market then, hey?
In a bear market, yes.
Yeah.
It's going up and it's going down. So we still get the buy the lows, sell the highs. It's just smaller than in a bull market. So that's what they teach you. So you can make money in a bad market or a good market.
Yeah.
If you've got this skill. That's number one. But that takes time. You have to sit in front of your computer and you have to sit and decide, I want to scalp this coin today. This coin looks good. And then you spend as much time as you want scalping that coin, buying lows, selling highs. Okay, so that does take time. However, there's other options too. Most of my money, about 70% of my money that I've made so far, I've made with what we call snuggling. So I go, before I go to bed, half an hour. Yes, I make money with my eyes closed.
This is a PG talk,
So,
Tanya.
I'll keep it simple. So before I go to bed at night, I spend about half an hour. I look at the coins. I choose a coin that looks good to me, and then I buy into the coin and I go to sleep. Tomorrow morning, it's either sold if I put in a sell order, or it's where I want it to be and I leave it a little bit more and I sell it and I make money while I sleep. Yes, there's always a risk of the market changing. When Bitcoin throws a tantrum, the altcoins tend to run after it at times. So there is always a chance, but that's why you've got safety nets called stop losses. You put in a stop loss, so when the price reaches a certain price, it sells you out and you don't lose your money. So most of my money I've made with snuggling, and that's literally a half an hour in the evening. I sit, I check the markets. What do I want to do? Put my order in, and tomorrow morning I'm sold out or whatever, and I've made my profit.
That's pretty cool. And that profit's all in dollars, right?
All in dollars. Like the other week, I was putting in on a very strange evening, because Sundays are not traditionally a very good night to scalp, to trade or leave a trade in.
Everybody's watching.
And I put it in. Yes, but I made $120 that evening.
Hey.
When I put it in the night. The next morning, I was $120 in profit. I sold. I bought again once it dropped, and I went and fetched a porcupine to be released back into the wild. And when I came back 4 hours later, I had made another $70. I mean, that's that's a lot for me. So it's possible. Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
there's risks involved, but when you are trained, the risks seem to diminish quite a lot because you know what you're doing.
yeah.
So that's the importance of the course.
Yeah, I mean, that brings, look, I mean, I was in the stock market for a long time. I bought my first shares. If you listen back to our original conversation, I think when we were first introducing ourselves to anybody who's listening to our listener base, and I mean, I bought my first. I wasn't old enough. I was like Durant. I was 11, and my mother had to buy the shares on my behalf. And in those days, just to give some of my age away, a hint, you couldn't buy one share or 50 shares or whatever. You had to buy lots of 100 shares at a time. You couldn't buy 101. You couldn't buy 99. It had to be 100. So it gives you an indication of how long ago this was. I still hold the same shares today. So technically, that particular stock, that those shares are now deemed capital gains as far as tax is concerned. So I just think I'm not sure how, if you're aware, Tanya, but I'm gonna just allude to, as far as I'm aware, up until the changes this year that were made, and I'm not a tax consultant, guys, but up until this year, as far as I understand it, I don't think this part of tax law has changed as far as income is concerned. But the last time I checked, if you're somebody who buy and sell anything, it's deemed as income tax. It's taxable within that year as part of your provisional tax or your income tax, income earnings. Okay, your earnings. However, if you buy something and hold it for 3 years or longer, i.e., you keep it for 3 years or longer, then it falls into capital gains tax. As far as I'm aware, that hasn't changed that period of time. So if, for example, 3 years ago you had bought Bitcoin and you now decided you wanted to sell it this year after February 28, you would only be liable for capital gains tax in that instance. Same with a property, a car, a house, any one of those. It's everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what asset class it is. As far as I understand, as I say, I'm not a tax expert, but I do read a lot about this stuff because it's part of my business as well. And so you would fall under capital gains tax if that was the case. But any other term below 3 years, it becomes income tax. Okay, just so that you guys are aware. And the same thing goes with anything that you're making income off as a side hustle, whether you're selling vulturines or whether you are selling honey. Beeswax, it doesn't make any difference, guys. Any of that goes under the tradable income tax law, okay? Which you'd have to pay then. You have to, obviously you have to make more than whatever the amount is now. I think it was 130,000 odd is the base rate, the base taxable rate. Below that, you get it's the tax bracket. Below that is tax free. I think past 130,000 now, or 120,000 a year, if I'm not mistaken, is tax free. But as I say, that would just need to be double checked by you yourself because you're responsible for your own tax. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you hold something for longer than 3 years, capital gains tax. If you don't, it becomes income tax. Okay, that's the gist of that bit. But yeah, so I'm interested. So now you're earning dollars. So whenever you earn dollars in your trading account, you can withdraw it and you get paid in ZAR, I believe, right? So
yes, that's right.
Whatever earnings, okay, obviously initially you take the whack of whatever it is now, 15 Rand to the dollar, 14 something, whatever it was the last time I checked was just under $15. So you take a whack there, converting to dollars. So $300 would be whatever times 15. That's 4.5 grand, give or take, 4,500 Rand ish, 5,000 Rand probably if you're including some fees and whatever, I don't know, rounding it up. But then you got your $300. And from the sounds of things, sounds like you've done more than
you can do a lot with 300.
Doing like 10% a week plus, right? I mean, I'm just rough numbering it off the top of my head. You're doing more than 10% a week there.
You can do a
lot. Which is almost comparable to anything else at this stage. But awesome, Yeah. And then whatever
I really enjoyed this.
You can convert it back to rands and you're getting times by 15.
Exactly.
Right? So you only
Exactly.
need, so
That's what.
anybody that's out there, if you're averaging, let's say 10, let's say, how far does 10 grand get you these days? I mean, some people will be like, hey, 10 grand's phenomenal, but let's work on 10 grand. If you divide that by 15, it's $700, it's $700. I think you've done that, right? So far every month, haven't you? Or this so far?
Yeah, well, I'm not even at 200. I'm not even at 2 months yet. So yes.
So you've done at least that already. Awesome. And you didn't have any background knowledge in this trading stuff, did you?
Nothing. I was just seeing what my son was doing.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. It's really awesome, actually. I mean, when I was in the stock market game, it generally you'd either have to have a broker doing it for you, or it could take people quite a long time to make, what would be called decent returns. Would be about 20% a year, let alone a month.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you do
and never give your money to somebody else.
I'd rather get the knowledge yourself. That's what I always used to say to people. And I mean, so my background, I mean, I've been on CNBC Africa. I helped them with their what was it called, a top trader show, where they took I think it was like 20 candidates, and the top one won 100,000 rand. And I was the technical analysis guy that trained them how to pick shares in those days. So if you want to find out something cool, go on Google or YouTube. You can find me there. You can what do you call it? Snoop, if you like, and find out about my technical analysis on the stock market. And out of that, I actually I started training Standard Bank's private clients. I had a 1-year contract with them, which was awesome, traveling around the country. But so anyway, still do that on the side, but also now looking at the Bitcoin stuff. I think I'm quite keen. I mean, Elon Musk is one of my top guys. He's one of my 3 mentors that I follow, and I think everybody should have a mentor, at least one mentor, but probably 3 or 4 would be ideal, and one in each area of your life is spectacular. But Elon Musk, when I mean, I've been following Bitcoin over a long time, but when he bought $1.5 billion worth through Tesla a couple of months ago, he bought them at $40,000. So he's now at $57,000, something like that, when I checked earlier on today. I mean,
and it was at 63. So if he sold at 63, then he bought now again.
Yeah, he could have made some serious dosh, but and he is still making some serious dosh. But yeah, I've been in a couple of debates with some mates over the last couple of weeks, and here's the crux of the debates. They're like, what can you do with Bitcoin or any one of these cryptocurrencies after you've gotten into them? And I'm like, because it's not mainstream. And I'm like, well, because they said to me, but you can't go down the road and buy groceries with Bitcoin. I'm like, well, actually,
but you can,
I know you can.
You can.
But and the thing is they're like, but it's been around for how long has it been around? So I said, well, the founder guy, if it was his real name, whatever, there's lots of debate around that too. But the founder guy is, I think, a Japanese guy. I think he started the whole blockchain concept was started in 2009. So some history here for you guys. 2009, and he did it so that money, because of the whole crisis in 2008, 2009, government stuffing around, all the international banks stuffing us around, the world economic crisis that happened back then, especially the credit crisis, credit crunch, and housing crunch. He decided, listen, I'm going to create a system out of blockchain technology which will decentralize the control of money from governments. And that's how effectively Bitcoin and all these other coins came into being, cryptocurrency came into being. Blockchain is not just used for trading currencies, cryptocurrencies. It's used for a whole bunch of other things now, which is also pretty awesome. If you're interested in that technology, you can just YouTube that. But having said that, a couple of my mates who smart guys, they're like, like anybody who has got a decent mind on them and inquisitive as well, said, but it's been 10 years or 12 years. It should have been in for IT. It's a long time for something to be taken into the mainstream. And I said, well, actually, this isn't this isn't an IT platform. This is an entire economic or financial rather platform that's coming into being, that's disrupting the entire financial system. Okay. And so what I did is I brought up the case of cars. Do you know how long it took cars to be taken up as into mainstream over the horse and cart? Anybody know how long it took for what we take for granted today being a vehicle, a car, a four-wheel vehicle? How long did it take before that became mainstream? Any takers without looking it up? Nope. Put your hand up if you want to have a guess, or put it in the chat. Tanya, have you got an idea? Do you want to have a go? I can't hear you.
Not a clue, but Tanya Spangenberg says a year.
Okay, Zelda. Okay, cool. Zelda, yeah. Okay, that's cool. But thanks for giving.
Melandri says 50 years.
You're a bit off. And so is Tanya. How about halving that? Let's halve that, Melandri, just about. And you'll be in the ballpark. It was 23 years before cars fully became accepted in the mainstream and took over from the horse and cart. Okay. So that's and why? Think about it, guys. If you think about it, the horse and cart had been around for centuries, okay, if not millennia. So when a new system came along, like a vehicle, a car, the roads that were created weren't ideal for cars. They were created for horses and carts. The cities were created for horses and carts. You know, there were no garages. There were no mechanics. No mechanics. How would you get your car? How do you get a car repaired? No mechanics. You know, aside from the factory that built the thing, and the factory that built it could have been miles away. If you lived in one state, if you lived in California, and the factory was in like Washington, guess what? The chances of you repairing that vehicle were zero, because it would cost you more to just get it repaired than just to replace it. You know, for example, where are you going to get your fuel? There's no fuel. There are no garages. Okay, there weren't none of that was set up. It's the same problem that Elon Musk has right now, or anyone really that is trying to create, is pushing electric cars. If you think about electric cars, they're completely disruptive in comparison to for what they are. As vehicles, they're not disruptive, but in terms of being able to power them, the fuel that they use, that's disruptive. Okay, electric cars have been around for ages too. In fact, Henry Ford created an electric car, but because it couldn't get very far in comparison, and it was completely out of cost, the affordability for people in comparison to petrol, it just didn't take off. But Elon Musk has the same problem he did back then. How do you make sure that there's enough places for people to charge their vehicles? Okay, so even with Tesla, it's, and electric cars in general, it's going to take a while for that to become a mainstream thing. Hopefully not 23 years. But my point is, let's get back to the cryptocurrency. For cryptocurrency to be a real thing, a financial thing, it is a real thing, don't get me wrong, but what I mean is for it to be mainstream. So in other words, just like we walk around now with a Visa credit card or an American Express, whatever you have, if you have one, or you have an ATM card, whatever the case, a debit card, doesn't matter. You walk around with that thing, look how long that took to take up. Okay. ATM machines weren't around.
And
they weren't a thing either, right? What was that, Tanya?
I was going to say, and it really is so. There's a few companies now where you can order a card, you load it with your crypto, and you spend it in rands. So you don't even have to take it out and put it in your bank account. You just load it onto the card, and you can spend it at Checkers, at Truers, wherever you want to spend it.
Yeah.
So it's spendable.
It is. But I'm just saying, just because I think a lot of my, a number of my friends have said to me, yeah, but you can't spend it and then it's linked to the dollar. I'm like, well, wake up, dude. It's, it's going to be, it's already something you can use. You can barter and trade it. It's just going to get more and more mainstream. The more people that get involved, the more it's going to get. And the difference with Bitcoin, I'm sure some other coins are probably similar too. I'm not familiar with it that much, but I know Bitcoin is it's capped. So I think there's 21 million coins that will ever be issued. So it's not as if it's not like the dollar. It's not like the dollar or the rand or any of these other currencies
that they just
printing presses are just running 24/7 right now, creating like trillions of dollars a month of just money, inflationary linked money. Okay, so we're getting into.
There's not even 3 million left.
Sorry?
Of Bitcoin, there's not even 3 million left.
Oh, really?
More than 18 million has been sold.
Been
so it's they're getting scarce now.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
yes, definitely.
A little bit of backstory on crypto of what I know about it, just simply because I follow Elon Musk, and a couple of the debates I've had with friends over the last week or two, knowing that we were going to talk about how to make money on the side of business and stuff today.
Sure.
But I think it's pretty cool. And the absolute bonus, guys, is earning in dollars. That for me is just cake. That's just the cake and eating it and the icing and the cherry, and you can have seconds. Which is phenomenal. But on the beekeeping side, what can you guys do? Right. So last week we talked about beeswax, what you can do with beeswax, and I think there were about 5-6 different industries or segments of income, ways of creating income that you can do with beeswax. So have a look at the replay on that. If you've missed it, make sure that you are subscribed to the Live Talks Boost page. Okay, depending on where you got in touch with us today for joining us with this talk tonight, and we'll send you the replay links if you're a subscriber there. And then also so beeswax is one, propolis is another one. Propolis in South Africa is pretty hard to come by, so I think there's a big gap there. You can get propolis trays in order to harvest the propolis, and you can generate around about, depending on the hive itself and its personality, you can generate around 200 to 300 grams a year on average using a propolis tray. And I do talk about this in a couple of episodes, or an episode about 4 or 5 episodes back. And then honey. So you can look at buying honey in bulk from local producers and then bottling it in smaller bottles and selling that, and your profit margin on that could be quite good. Talking about making about 30 to 40% on that, especially if you go from buying, say, 100 to 200 kilograms, 500 kilograms, if you can budget for that. And then because you're buying in bulk, you can now bottle it down into 340 gram jars, and then you're selling it at a lot better price at a 340 gram jar at a time. Obviously, there's a slightly higher cost because you're using more bottles, 3 bottles to make a kilogram, 3 labels, etc. But you do make the margin. The margin is in that kind of business model. Okay. You can also cream the honey, and by creaming the honey, you can also charge an extra, say, 30% as well. For some reason, the consumers just believe
love creamed honey
and prefer, they like creamed honey. Yeah, cool. So you end up charging, and actually you can end up making an extra 30% there. Learning, if you come on our course, we've got a course on the 1st of May for beginner beekeepers, but we also do an intermediate beekeeping course where we teach, after you come to the beginner one. On the intermediate one, we can teach you how to make more bees, or more queens, actually, which then create more colonies. Now, there's big business in that, and that can be something that can be done on a small holding or a homestead, with a fairly low budget, and it can be done about 6 to 7 months of the year. If you learn about it after your first year, you could probably do it almost every month, to be honest, except for maybe June. Because it's really, really too cold to do it in June, and maybe July. So you get bumped that up to about 10 months. But to give you an idea, a colony of 5 frames can sell for close on about 1,000 Rand. Anywhere between 700 and 1,000 Rand, depending on who you're selling it to. 6 frames drawn out. In other words, each frame has got wax on it, and you've got a mated queen obviously in there with the bees. And what you would normally do is you swap out the 5 or 6 frames with the customer, and they would give you their 5 or 6 empty frames back. So you do that exchange, and then they give you bucks for that. So you could be looking at anywhere, as I say, from about $700 for 6 frames to R1,000 for 6 frames if they're fully drawn out with a good quality queen. Okay, so there's good money in that. I mean, you can think about it. If you're doing, and our course, we teach you how you could be, how you can do at least 10. You can make 10 new queens a month, give or take. It takes about 25 days rolling cycle in order to do that. And so if you're doing 10 a month, it's 10 times, say $700. Obviously, there's some cost involved, but let's say you come out with $500. There's a bit of money. There's a bit of budget that you need up front, just like anything to start up with. You need the catch boxes, and you need some starter queens and stuff like that, starter boxes, and you need all the kit that goes with this. And you need the knowledge and a bee course. So you're probably looking at, I don't know, could be about 15 grand, give or take. But you could do it on, you could do it at budget. You could make the hards yourselves. There's lots of ways to skin a cat. But you could be making, on average, when you get good at this, you could be making on average about 7 grand a month extra. Okay, 5 to 7 grand extra a month, not too bad for a small holding. And you're also helping other people to start beekeeping and or to get additional bees. You could also just sell the queens. That's much more specialized than that we normally do in our advanced course. And one queen that is a virgin queen, it's very specialized, but you could sell one virgin queen for about 250 rand on her own. And that could be done in bulk. You could be, there are guys in South Africa that require 50 queens at a time, 100 queens at a time, like that. They're willing to pay in bulk for bulk supply. So there's an option there as well. What else can we talk about, Tanya? You guys have done some other stuff.
Yes, I've got ideas.
Yeah,
right.
Go for it.
Homesteaders like to make their own things for themselves, be it canning stuff, be it drying stuff, be it making soap. So
Awesome.
out of all those three, the best one to make a business out of is soap. And I'm so fed up with the stuff in the shops. It's got so much rubbish in parabens and all these things that are really bad for us. So I support my friends that make soap. That's it. And even if I pay 35 rand a bar of soap, I do it because they will support me or my daughter that makes a skincare range or whatever the case may be. And a 35 rand for a bar of soap is so worth it because there's no rubbish in there. So there is a link I've just put into the chat of a soap course, and this is a link for one of our members for self-sufficient homesteading and gardening. She did a course on Udemy. She created the course.
Cool.
There's an Afrikaans and an English course that you can go do, and she teaches you everything. And she is by far the most detailed of making soap from the other instructors, and she's still new. She needs a foothold in the market on Udemy, because you know what the guys do? They go check on Udemy and they see, this guy's got 15,000 people that have done the course, and new guys that come in, maybe one or two, and they think, okay, let me take the 15,000, but it's not necessarily the better course. So I do think Ansa's course is really, really detailed and well done. So go have a look there on that link there. To make soap, you can make money. Everybody needs soap. I need soap every day. I use a lot of soap. And you can make soap, boerseep, to wash clothes. You can make body soap. You can make even like shampoo bars for your hair. You can make for your dishes. There's so many options. And soap making is fun. It's such a lot of fun. Yes,
and it's more environmentally friendly, right? A lot of the time as well, because a lot of those ingredients are going to break down in the water and all that sort of thing. It's not going to be, like you said early on, it's not going to be as pollutant heavy
Yes.
And you can make them, like you said, you can make them that's in such a way, like we talked about the beeswax, what to do, the legend and wonder of beeswax last week. You know, you make it so that it's personalized for you and or for your customer. You know, I mean, can you imagine
Yes.
getting a customer on a subscription basis where they contact you for customized soap that you make them?
Yes.
Now, there's a premium to that, guys. And, you know, a lot of people be like, oh, you know, there's shortage of money, that nobody's got money to spend on this kind of luxury soap. And I was like, well, my answer to that is as well, okay, then go and have a look at people that are spending 1,000 Rand on perfume, you know, 3,000 Rand on shoes. Don't tell me there's no money up there, right?
And not
So
just that.
it's about finding the niche and about finding the market and putting yourself in front of them, you know?
Yes. And it's not people, you know, a lot of people don't have money, sure, but there's a big part of the market that's not being explored, that could be explored. People that are wanting natural products, people that don't want to spend 6,000 or 7,000 Rand a month on their medical aid, Sparplan or whatever. They don't want to spend all that money, so they try and live healthy to keep their bodies healthy, and to use good soap just makes sense. Zelda says Anta Smith's course on soap making is so worth it. Beautiful course. Thank you very much for that feedback, Zelda. So there's somebody that's done it already that can tell us all about it. So there is people that want to stay away from bad stuff that's not good for your body. And do you want to spend 35 Rand on a bar of soap, or do you want to spend 500 Rand on your medication that you have to use when you're a bit older, or 1,500? 500 is nothing. I bought an ointment yesterday. It was 285 Rand for like a 20 ml tube. I mean, ridiculous. Wow. And that was for an eczema, and I know the eczema is because of something that I've put into my body. So there's something wrong. I've broken down my immune system, and I know what it is. So it's chocolates. I ate a lot of that. So yeah. So I have to cleanse my system again. But the point is, a lot of people know, live healthy, and you don't have to spend the money on the medical bills. Just buy proper soap and support each other. You know, we all support small businesses, support your friends, and that's a big part of it. So yes, Ansa's thing is worth it. Then another, yes.
Sorry, the other one I was going to say is that we've talked about this one in a previous episode, so I'm not going to go on about it too long, but making mead. So we talked about honey a little bit just now, just a few minutes ago, but you can take honey as well and buy that and then create mead out of that. Now, mead is honey wine. Obviously, you should most likely need a license in order to sell that on to people, so don't quote me on that. But and I'm not advising anybody to sell alcohol illegally without a license. That you can make honey mead or mead, honey wine out of honey and water, and then you just add a couple of the other ingredients that go with it. It's not difficult to make it. It's just it does take time though to make it, because it needs to ferment and then cure and then you can bottle it and give it away to friends and family, or once you have your license, you can sell it. So that's another option as well, is making mead. And if not mead, then you can be making things like gin. And a homemaker's kit's not that expensive in the scheme of things, to be able to make your own gin. And then again, obviously, remember, you do need to have some, in some of these cases, you might need a license. And in some cases, you may need to have, especially if you're talking about creams. In last week's talk about beeswax, if you're making creams and balms and salves and things like that, then usually there are testing requirements for these things, for health, for being healthy and, so that you can sell them to the public. But kombucha. I think Barry was talking about kombucha, which is also a health drink that you can make at home. And that I don't think you require a license per se for alcohol, because to sell that, because it's not alcoholic based, right? As far as I know. So there's lots of opportunity.
Well, why don't we ask Barry to comment on
Barry?
that? But can Barry tell us a bit more? Barry, are you willing to tell us a bit more about what you're doing with your kombucha and what your plans are?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
So what happened is a while back by accident, I didn't know what it was. I just saw somebody drinking and I asked what it was and they explained to me. So and they gave me obviously this thing that looks like a garden slug. I didn't know it was a SCOBY and stuff. So I'm like, yes, I don't want to eat the thing. I just want, and they explained the whole thing to me within a week. I just started brewing. But the thing is, two things that I do is that I only sell it to a restaurant, so they can sell it freshly from the glass. So there's no bottling, no pricing for that. And then also, I've got a subscription of people that every Friday or so they get a 5 liters or 2 liters. So that's an ongoing thing, and that's actually, I mean, people would rather buy kombucha because of its price, like 2 or 5 liters, than just the bottles, and it seems to work for me.
There we go. Nice one. Thanks for sharing that, Barry. That's brilliant.
Barry, and if we can order, just put it in the comments, because if I can add up to that subscription, I would like to jump in, because I love kombucha.
Yeah,
and
I think
good
another
kombucha is.
Sorry, yeah.
No, good kombucha is hard to come by, because a lot of people sell a bunch of junk in the market. They just carbonate something that they call kombucha. So good kombucha is. I would like to support you, Barry, if you have a basis to, or a way to do that.
He says he runs out every time, so that's a good problem to have. And it's a cool business model to have subscription, because pretty much that you can effectively you got X amount of cash income coming in because every month, because you have subscribers, right? I mean, that's the beauty of that entire concept.
Clever.
The business model is phenomenal. So where possible,
and
guys,
that he sells by the glass.
Yeah, and
no bottling.
Bulk. So he's selling it either 2 liters or 5 liters, I think he said. Which is pretty cool. So that's also bulk selling in a way as well. But there was something else I was gonna. There was something else. Worms.
About kombucha.
Right? So no, about worm farming. So essentially making fertilizer concentrate, right, from the casks of worms is another potential business as well. It's all natural, and it's highly potent, with results that are just phenomenal especially if you're homesteading and you gardening and that kind of stuff. It makes a perfect fertilizer, and there's a lot of good business around this as well. So look up earthworm farming for making fertilizer, and it's so easy, guys. All you need is a couple of 20-liter buckets, and you can have a 4 or 5 bucket tower, which is producing umpteen liters a day out of that. So YouTube that. Another big one that I see that's happening quite regularly, and is up and coming, are these microgreens. So and mushroom growing. So Tanya and I we actually debated not too long ago when we were talking about April's topics. We were debating about what are we going to be talking about, and one of the things we had to drop, which was our top 5, was mushroom growing, because again, it's quite lucrative. It's easy to do. Anybody can do it, even from inside your own kitchen. Obviously you want to be hygienic. If you're going to sell stuff on, you need to keep to you're probably going to have kind of food certificates and things like that. But my point is that it's possible to grow mushrooms pretty easy and pretty quickly, as well as looking into the microgreens productions. I mean, guys because there's an up and growing trend in being green, being vegan, being vegetarian, being healthy, knowing where your food's coming from without pesticides and insecticides and GMOs and all that sort of stuff, plus all the health benefits you get from eating green anyway, and microgreens especially. Lots of people are paying good money, same as the soap, homemade soap idea. They're willing to pay.
And Barry says he's selling the worms.
I see that, yeah. They eat scobies. I'm not sure what scobies
So there's so many facets to the business. And he's having a synergy between his kombucha and his earthworms, and it's just working for each other and making more and more money. I want to share another idea as well. My son's business that he started when he was 9 years old, he sold over 900 different varieties of non-GMO seeds. Now you can say, how can a 9-year-old do that? And how can he be producing 950 or 900 odd different non-GMO seeds? It's just impossible. But that's the thing, guys. You have to go look at what business model you want to follow. Durant followed what we called a drop shipping model, and we didn't even know that was the name for this model. We had no idea. Durant went to a company and he said, "Can I sell your product?" And they said, "Sure, you can." So he started up a website. He put in all the products himself. It took him over a year to get the website complete, because to upload over 900 products takes some time, especially for a 9-year-old. So he was putting everything on the website. So he basically had what we call a ghost website. It had all the same products as the company. And then we would just do some really vigorous marketing. His company's name was Durant's Heirloom Seeds.
Cool.
And we did a lot of marketing for him. And customers would come to Durant's Heirloom Seeds. They would buy. What would Durant do? He doesn't need to go out and grow the vegetable or the vegetable to get the seed, to pack it, to take it to the courier, or the courier come fetch, and that's all cut out. He basically put up his website, put on the products. The customers he did the marketing, the customers contacted him. They gave him an order. It went straight through the website. Everything is automatic. The people paid. As soon as they paid, Durant sent the order to the company. The company grew it. They harvested it. They watered it. They packed it. They did everything, all the work they did. And then they send it out to the customer, and Durant's making 30% profit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Awesome.
How's that not good?
That's great.
So I'm gonna place a link in the comments right now. If anybody's interested in doing something similar, the company which he was supplying for was called Living Seeds, and they are open to help other people to do drop shipping as well. So anybody else that wants to start a non-GMO heirloom seed business, go for it. Email that email address and ask them you want to be a drop shipper or a wholesaler or whatever you want to call it. And it's as easy as that. You do not need to grow all that vegetables. You just do the admin.
Yeah. And the beauty about that model, Tanya, is that it extends far and wide these days.
Yes.
Even though there's no Amazon in South Africa, the point is that there are tons of companies looking for more people to sell their product for them. And so therefore, generally speaking, one of the models that they can use is doing that through affiliates, i.e. people who are resellers. It's the old business model in the old days, but pre-internet, where basically you'd become a reseller or a dealer or an agent, and all that's happened is that people have gone, it's now become an online opportunity as well, where people now, if you're a great, if you have access to a great market, or you have access to some kind of email subscriber base, or you're really good on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever the case is, you can find a niche market that you enjoy or you like. You go find the particular people that are creating those products and see if they offer affiliate programs, and then you can make in some cases up to even 70% affiliate commission. I mean, that passive income, smart passive income, Pat Flynn, that's his model. That's well, it's not his only model, because he does also speak to other people who are doing their own products and how successful they've become starting from scratch, and then learning how to do it, and then talking about it with him and doing interviews with him. And then what he does is because they offer, a lot of them do now, because of where they've come from and where they are currently, they offer products and therefore affiliate programs to go with those products, and then he becomes an affiliate of theirs at the same time. So it's like a win-win-win all the way around. So you could do exactly the same thing in South Africa. Find a company that's producing stuff that you might not necessarily have the means, the budget, or the know-how to do, but you're interested in it. You're passionate about it. you're really good on social media, or you can become good at social media and or email marketing, whatever the case. There's lots of free tools and courses about that sort of stuff online, and start marketing and promoting. You know, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for anybody sitting at home on their small holding, the homestead, whatever the case is, to do something like that. And because companies even more than ever before now are needing to be able to make more income, you know, to find people that can help them sell their products, get it in front of their customer base and or new customers, and they're willing to share their profits in order for them to be able to do that, you know. And not only that, so you've got the whole affiliate model on the one hand, drop shipping which goes with affiliate marketing, can go with affiliate marketing, but drop shipping and affiliate marketing don't necessarily equal each other. They're two separate things in and of themselves, but you can combine the two if you wanted to. But in addition to those two things, there's a third one, which is influencer marketing. So now a lot of guys who are on YouTube and or on some kind of form of social media, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, Pinterest, you know, whatever it is, if you've got a following or you want to try and create a following, you can become an influencer. Or if you are already somebody who has a large group of following, you can then start
like my group.
Exactly. You could start looking at being sponsored to help market and promote specific products on behalf of, you know, people that you.
And I can give an example.
Yeah, go for it.
I can give an example. Self-sufficient homesteading and gardening is about over 22,000 members at this stage.
Woo!
So yes. So what's happening is people are wanting to advertise their products, or they want a review, or whatever the case may be, and they send me something. They send me neem oil, and everything doesn't have to be money. This whole thing about tonight's about money, but it's also fun to get gifts. So you get like a book.
That's it.
Susan Torrance sent me her book, a beautiful book, and it's a gardening book, Soil to Table, if I'm not mistaken. I must just check that for you. But it's a brilliant book. She sent me that book. I did some things for her on her book as well, and I've advertised even on our talks, so they get advertising. So even if it's not the money, if you're an influencer, you can get either money or you can get products at the end of the day.
Sometimes.
So, or both, yes.
Yeah. So I've done a similar thing with a friend of mine who's based in the UK. He is marketing and promoting a tea. It's a special kind of tea. It's a diabetic friendly tea. It's pretty cool, and it also helps to decrease the what do you call it, when you know your craving for food, especially sweet stuff. Okay.
Oh, your appetite.
Your appetite, but not just your appetite. It's actually for sweet stuff as well. And and so he's doing what's called white labeling. And
clever.
So he's gone to the factory, the actual factory, and the people that produce the stuff that actually farm it. It's a similar way of it's a similar thing to affiliate marketing, but actually he's going to create his own brand, which I think is really smart. And he's going to sell it like it's his product. He's going to hold stock. And so this is a bit more of an expensive, more of a upper level type. You need to have a little bit of business sense on how to do this part of the business before you start affiliate marketing. You do affiliate marketing before you do this, ideally. But he's gone into white labeling it, basically creating his own brand. Essentially, he's going to be creating his own product because he's going to have to buy stock with his own marketing, his own label on the thing, and he's going to start selling this in the UK. And he's quite smart on the internet and digital marketing and all that sort of stuff. So, but he's asked, he sent me samples. I've tasted it. I've created testimonial videos, and I've also given him his website anyway, the product testimonial reviews and stuff like that. And I think he's done that with numerous other people too, friends and family and other influencers is what he's busy with doing now. So he's sending free samples off to people. Some people respond, some people don't. But he that's how he's growing his business, doing it that way. And he's going to be, he's selling, I think, a pack of 20 or something for whatever it's going to be. It's not cheap. It's not cheap tea, but one bag, it's phenomenal. One bag will give you something like 2 liters, 1.5. I think it's 1.5 liters worth of tea, which can be drunk throughout the day by especially somebody who's diabetic or has like serious bad cravings for sugar-based stuff, because it removes, and it's good for your balances your sugar and all that stuff throughout the day. So it's quite a niche kind of product in terms of teas, but a big one. 1/3 of the US right now is obese, and I think about a fifth of the population in the States are like bordering type 2 diabetics, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
But it's a massive issue.
The health market is massive. Yes. Anything to do with your health is massive. We are actually white labeling. We've got moringa in now, and we're going to see a lady in Vivo with aloe products. So that is a very good example of how to make money. White labeling. You don't have to do all the work. You don't have to plant the aloe. You don't have to plant the moringa. You don't have to put up these huge million-rand stores to dry them.
Yeah.
Somebody else does it.
You're just partnering with them as essentially, it's almost like being a branch of theirs, but you own your own brand. So it's like being a franchise, but instead of it saying KFC on the front, it says, Warwick's Fried Chicken.
Lekker chicken.
So yeah, it's cool. Okay, Barry talking to Zelda about selling worms. That's pretty cool. If you don't mind me sharing, Barry, but he's saying it's R1 a worm if they're going to use them to farm with, I think. And if they want for fishing, it's $3 a worm, R3 a worm, because now the others have to work harder, which is right, I think. For the worm union, I think they would be happy with that. So yeah. Nothing. So Zelda says she is growing moringa and aloe vera, so that's cool. We can become white labels of yours for you, Zelda, which is awesome, and it's something you should look into doing for yourself, offering people white labels and or affiliate programs. Okay. So you don't have to do all the work yourselves, guys. This is the beauty of the technology age. We're no longer in this industrial age anymore, guys. Everything can be so interlinked, and starting a business, guys, these days. It's the easiest it has ever been in the whole of time ever.
True.
And
you can sell knowledge.
Exactly.
You don't even have to
just that alone.
You could sell knowledge.
That alone. And a WordPress site costs nothing. The only thing that you need to get ideally should have is your own domain name. At least register your own domain name. A domain name is in South Africa like $160 for a .co.za per annum, and the hosting at WordPress is free. So you need to learn WordPress, which is on YouTube for free, or Udemy, or one of these other online academies for free, and then you just need to figure that out, and you could start putting up your own website, and the domain name costs you $160 a year. Done. Yeah, and then it's just about.
And Barry, that's something. Yeah. Barry can teach people how to make kombucha. It's not going to interfere with his market at this stage. There's so many people that want kombucha. The country is huge. So start selling how to make kombucha, how to keep it going, how to make it nice and fizzy, how to second ferment. And people will buy that. I mean,
and
they buy in dollars. They buy in dollars. Ask Warwick about that.
Yeah. And then Barry could, and then at the same time, while Barry's talking about that, for example, about making his kombucha, he could be making YouTube videos, and then at the bottom, he can be talking about, here's my subscription link, which he probably does do. I don't know. I would do that, Barry. Here's our 2 cents or our 2 grams worth of advice for you. So business in a nutshell. But I think we've covered so much, guys. Any questions? Let's go into a 5-minute question session, and then I think we'll wrap up. Animation day job. Very, very, very. I love animation, dude, but the amount of time you must be, and I'm sure you love animation too, to an extent, because that's what you're into at the moment from the looks of things. But time equals
Money.
You know.
Only a half, Barry.
Only half. Okay, I thought it was like 3/4, man. What are you saying? Especially after some of the kombucha, you know. But so questions, guys. Put up your hands and let's go with questions.
None? No questions? No hands?
Zelda's
Any
like,
comments?
thanks, guys. It's been an inspiring meeting. You're welcome, guys. Hopefully, everybody's learned something tonight. We try to cover a lot of bases: beekeeping, homesteading, gardening, financial, cryptocurrency trading.
Everything.
It's been we've been all over the place. We've covered affiliate marketing. We've covered white labeling, influencer marketing,
drop shipping.
It's a lot of stuff. What I would say is avoid the shiny object syndrome. If you don't know what that is, I'll give you a quick definition. It means when you chase, you like those little birds. What are those birds called? The ones that go after the jewelry.
Crows.
Are they crows?
Crows.
I don't know if they are crows.
Crows like shiny stuff.
Yeah. Magpies. I think it's magpies. Don't be a magpie, okay? Don't chase the next shiny object all the time. Don't be a cat that chases the little light all over the place, okay? Because it looks nice and cool. Give. Choose something, dig into it, and go for it. Okay.
Focus.
Yeah.
And then, Warwick, I just also want to say, just in conclusion, the competition for those that have been on all 3 calls for April, I think, Warwick, what we should do is we should go double check the names, and then all the names that are on there, we could possibly contact. You've got all the contact details, and we can maybe do a special Zoom with a live wheel, and we'll spin the wheel for the winner of the beehive. What do you think about that? Because there are people that are qualifying that I see here.
I think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I think let's do that. Yeah, because it's such a cool prize.
It is.
Complete beehive, man. I think it's awesome. So yeah, let's do that. We've got the list. We'll be in touch with you guys by the end of the month, at least. I know next week gets a bit hairy with month end for everybody. But we'll certainly make sure we're in touch with you guys by the end of the month, and we'll make the announcement. Well, we'll do it actually live, as Tanya says. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, we'll just spin the
do
wheel.
It live, and then we'll get in touch with the relevant people, or person, I should say, the winner. So that'll be awesome. But guys, yeah, again, for me, if from the beekeeping side of things, if you want to join us 1st of May, we've got a bee course. That's for the beginners. UNSA's course is available 24/7. We've also got an online course if you're interested in that. That's at www.startbeekeeping.co.za. For those that can't get to Midrand or Gauteng, you can get an online course. It's kind of like a crash course in getting bees, keeping bees, and avoiding beginners' mistakes. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll see you in May, the first Wednesday of May, because we skipped the last one always at the end of the month. So thanks for joining us, guys. It's been awesome having you this month. I think we've covered some amazing topics this month. We had the African horse sickness and other vector-based diseases. Then we had the wonder and legend of beeswax, which was last week. And tonight was making money while the sun shines, and the hay bales, making all of that.
And while you sleep.
And while you're sleeping as well sometimes. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I got into beekeeping, you know. Not only am I passionate about the insects and bees and the food security and all that sort of stuff, but the bees kind of carry on, you know, they do their thing.
Mm.
And as long as you look after them, give them a nice home, they, you know, it's a mutually beneficial situation, I think.
Okay.
Cool. Nice
Thanks,
one.
guys.
Closing thoughts from you, Tanya?
Well, guys, go out and sit and think what you want to do, think how you want to do it, do some research and get going. That's it.
That's it. Nice one.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Take care. We'll see you in May.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Cheers, Abe. Bye.